Dyslexia comes with gifts, even when people look at it as a negative condition. Did you know that most of our artists, best footballers, the best musicians that we have belong to the dyslexia family? This and more is what we talked about last time in Health Pot, and we promised to bring back Dr. Njuki to take us through the other bit of dyslexia he didn't share with us. I welcome you to today's show. This is Health Pot, brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health, together with Church of Uganda Family TV. And we basically look at early childhood development, maternal and child health, and other public health areas. So, as we promised you, because you know when we promise, we fulfill, Dr. Njuki is already with us. Doctor, we are delighted to have you today again.
Thank you. Thank you, moderator. I'm proud also to be associated with Family TV and the Makerere University. So I'm delighted that we can share what we know to save our nation, because this is what we can offer to our nation.
Yeah, that's right. So maybe to give a recap of what we looked at last week, we introduced dyslexia and we talked about dyslexia in details. But maybe to to remind our viewers about some of the danger signs that a parent can look at, and then they know that my child is not abnormal, but they have a condition which is called dyslexia.
Yeah, as we said last time, I think the biggest warning sign of dyslexia is a child who is not speaking at all by its first birthday. If the child is just struggling with the words, at least it should have 10 to 15 words which are clear. But if that is not happening, the parent has a reason to worry. The other is a situation where the kid, for example, is maybe having issues with his speech. When he speaks, like the speech is childish. When he's 4 or 5 years old, oh, it's a nightmare. Nagenjeyo, when he's 4 or 5, I think there is an issue to worry about. And also, as we said in school, when the kid is reversing letters, as I mentioned last time, it is a problem of directionality. The child is struggling with left versus right. Which one? Where does the letter go? Does it go below the line, above the line? Is it on the left or the right? That's why we've got issues. And sometimes letters are omitted out of words. You find that, instead of books, the child has written a book. The S has been deleted. That's
or maybe the other O is omitted.
Or the other O is omitted. So these are some of the warning signs. And dyslexia doesn't come alone. Maybe this is a point to note that we didn't say much about. Dyslexia comes with other conditions that we call attention deficit disorder. These children have hard time concentrating. They are erratic. They are highly disorganized. They misplace things, pens, books. They go with the sweaters at the beach. They never bring them back. So, bit of memory issues.
Now, doctor, there is now something that is coming up. You've talked about the attention deficit. It is attention deficit disorder.
Yes.
But we also have issues related to personality. And some people attach some of these traits to personality. Now, where is the difference between someone's personality traits and then the attention deficit disorder?
Yeah, I think that is quite different. I think what I talk about is a condition, we call it executive functioning in the brain, how the brain processes information. For people, I think different mechanisms within the brain don't function well, and it has got basis, it has got causes.
Well, why I say that is some of the personality types have been some of these traits you talked about have been attributed to a particular personality group. And so when we look at someone, we see them doing that, we think it is a particular personality, but everything is normal.
Once upon a time, that we used to think in a particular way, but science evolves. Things change. over time. And scientists continue to discover many things. What used to be normal in the past is not normal now.
Exactly.
It was okay to sleep in a house without lighting. We used to, Stone Age. So I think science has advanced, even in psychology. Many things have evolved. We used to call, we used to have just a few special needs, for example, if we can call that. People used to think someone who is disabled is one who has physical issues.
Yes.
They used to call it lame. We don't want to call it, it's not acceptable anymore. But mobility is a challenge, vision is a problem, hearing, and all other conditions were lumped into mental or cognitive issues. But now, new science has unpacked. Now we understand more that we have got different types. For example, now, the tool I mentioned last time, the National Learning Identification Tool, which we know now, which is going to be used to assess all children when they turn 3, has got 21 conditions. Government has to find money to plan for different disabilities or conditions among children. So UNEB was only assessing a narrow group of children, but now we have got broader. You can imagine today we have got the little persons of Uganda. In the past, we never talked about them.
That's true.
So that's why I'm challenging the issue of saying that it is a personality. You just accept a status quo. But we should be prepared to learn more, to discover more things, and to prepare better for vulnerable children.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I can say.
Okay.
So yeah.
We'll get back to the factors you are talking about.
Yes. I was saying that dyslexia does not come alone.
Yes.
It is always in a combination. About 60% of people with dyslexia have attention deficit disorder. One of the warning signs where parents will say, this child is stubborn. That word is stubborn means that the person doesn't have a good word to use. But others would say this person cannot settle, is on the move. I think those are positive descriptions.
Yeah.
But it is attention deficit disorder. The person cannot concentrate on a given task. There are some children who even never completes food. Yeah. He eats maybe midway, he goes to the toilet. Then he's back, he continues eating. And
they eat, then they run to play.
Then they remember, hey, my toy is outside. Even some adults cannot complete a meal. Midway, they remember something in the office, they run off. So that is attention deficit disorder, which is a hallmark, which is a characteristic of people with dyslexia. There are other conditions. There is what we call word retrieval. They cannot find words to use. If my colleagues who come from the West would say enankage. He knows what he's talking about, but he cannot quickly retrieve it.
The word.
The word.
To name it.
To name it. It's enank. So, for us we say chiri echintu chiri. Enanka ni enanka. When you hear enanka, nagenze ejindi. Nagenze okulaba omuntu gundi. Nasanze gundi ow'ejindi. Then you should know dyslexia is around. And you should not take it easy, take it serious, and help the person. Because at least we thank God now. There is a training. There is training in Chambogo, for example, and many universities are adopting this training, special needs and inclusive education. Yeah. We feel no child should be left behind. No person whatsoever should be left. Schools should become accommodative. All varieties. And as we said, this tool is going to help us. Once you know there are different varieties in your classroom, teachers should organize their teaching around that. Some children are visual. They learn through seeing. Others are audio. They learn through hearing. Others are tactile. They learn through touch. But you see a teacher only hanging charts in the room, not taking care of other
those
kids.
Who learn while
touching
those
things.
Who learn while, yeah.
So this is, I think, a new dimension which is coming, and which also parents should embrace. When you have facilities at home, think about your children. How do they differ? And this could be a reason. I know we embraced inclusive education, but it is a goal. To me, I think it is more of a goal. It is not something that is starting tomorrow. We shall continue to require special facilities for specific groups of children. We have got children who are, it is possible to have dyslexia and you are very bright, gifted, and talented. So you need acceleration in your learning. There are some children, you give them food, in a minute the plate is empty. Learn from day one that that child is fast. Those are early warning signs. The child will ask you abstract questions, things which are complex. Don't refuse to give answers. You should know God has given you a gift. I've done a pilot study for a kid who is now 17 years, is at university.
17 years?
17 years of age. I found that boy in one of the Kampala schools at age 8, but his IQ was 145, which is very high. And what we did, we accelerated. He studied P5, P6, P7 1 year, and he passed with the first grade. O-level, he did it in 3 years. Between November, when they did O-level, to February, he had covered A-level syllabus. And he joined, he did 3 diplomas the following 2 years. Now he's at university, doing software engineering.
Wow.
So I think this is a new way of thinking.
Exactly.
And people with dyslexia can also be as very fast. We didn't know before, when we started this field of dyslexia, we thought that people with dyslexia are ones who are only bright. But it is possible to be on the lower age when you have also dyslexia. So it is evenly distributed among, on the spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, Doctor, when we come back, you're now going to tell us about the attention hyperactive disorder, because you told us about the attention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
Now you will tell us about the attention hyperactive disorder.
Yeah.
That is when we come back after the commercial break. Just keep your eyes on Chapter Uganda Family TV. We shall be right back.
Brethren, yes we can. We can clear the debt of church house. And I want to invite you to give generously to the love gift. May God bless you as you give.
Welcome back from the commercial break. This is HealthPod. HealthPod is brought to you by Mukalazi University School of Public Health, together with Church of Uganda Family TV. And our areas of concern are early childhood development, maternal and health care, and then other public health areas that are important to you, our viewers. Edrine Osteeen Mukalazi is my name. We are with Dr. Njuki, and we are looking at dyslexia. Dyslexia is a condition that most of us might be having, but because we've not been diagnosed, we don't know. However, it is important for you to know, or if you don't have it, it is better to watch your child and help them, as Doctor is going to take us through how we can help our children in this particular episode. Doctor, we are back.
Thank you.
And
Rita,
before the commercial break, I'd assigned you to tell us about the attention hyperactive disorder.
Okay.
How does it connect with attention deficit disorder?
Yeah, as I mentioned, attention deficit disorder, or ADD, that is when a child has issues with organization of things, has issues with the concentration, but the child doesn't move about so much. But attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, the hyper, that means he moves so fast. The opposite is hypo. Hypo, the child doesn't move, is lazy. So the people you call lazy in a community are hypoactive. They drag, they eat a meal for 2 hours. When they are sweeping, they take ages. When they are dressing, they never leave the dressing room. Those are hypoactive.
They tell us such people do their work better. When they are sweeping, they sweep slowly, but they sweep neatly. Is it correct?
It's not always true, because there is an element of intelligence quotient, the power of the brain. It is possible to be slow, but you are down. In everything we do, there is a bit of creativity, there is a bit of innovation. You can make it different. So I will not extend that. Let me keep to what you asked earlier. Attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. These children never settle in one place. They are always on the move. But as we know, we learned when we were in primary that a rolling stone gathers no moss. Because they are always on the move, they never complete anything. That's why, if it is supposed to be class time, they are in, but they remember they have to run to the toilet. And many times, I've done some studies, they go there not just for the sake of it, especially if learning is challenging. They escape the teacher. Because the teacher has failed to provide for their needs, they just say, okay, let me spend 5 minutes in the toilet. By the time I come back, this math teacher will be out. But they'll keep moving to different sites without necessarily accomplishing anything. That is attention deficit disorder. So it is very common among children with autism. Maybe that will be a different story. Autism is another challenging area, but thank God there is new innovation. I think we are pursuing a course, 16 therapists in Uganda. We are doing a course on Qigong therapy. It is Chinese medicine that we are going to use, because autism almost we knew. I studied in the UK, United States, in the Scandinavia. We thought it had no cure, but we have seen positive results where once it is well applied, I think autism may be a story in the near future. So let me leave that aside, because today we're talking about dyslexia. What we can do, as you told me, in all these circumstances, whether attention deficit disorder, usually it is a problem with the chemical imbalance in the body. We carry many chemicals, including the chemicals we eat in our food. So at least we know the foods we eat carry chemicals, because we have got herbicides, pesticides, and all of these. So today we see on tomatoes, you buy them when they're almost white. And there is no time to wash it clean. To keep,
especially apples.
Especially
you
apples.
Buy it when you're in a taxi, and then you just eat it.
Exactly. So the chemical load in the body can cause some of those executive functioning disorders. We take so many medicines, some of them have got side effects. I apologize for the health fraternity, but I think we have not taken enough care to examine the implications of some medicines, because it will destroy this particular kind of a germ or bacteria, but it will create another problem. So I think we are in this world where we are full of chemicals. I will not go against some of the programs, but at least where chemicals are involved, they have got some side effects, secondary challenges that can be brought about. So what do we do? Because you asked me a question, what can we do?
Yes. As parents, as caregivers, and as teachers.
First and foremost,
because our children are now back at school.
I start with the source. Where does it come from? We need to prioritize teenagers, equip them, arm them with the information. As they go about the business of thinking about making babies, they should know there are different types of babies you can get. You can get one who is gifted, very talented, very clever. But you can get one who is deaf. You can get one with dyslexia. As I said, dyslexia is a public health issue. Children with dyslexia is #1 cause of school dropout. majority of our people who are school dropouts, they will tell you, my parent did not have money, but that is a camouflage. The real issue, learning was difficult. But they say, you know, daddy didn't have money. When you are clever, for example.
But he refused to pay.
Yeah, daddy refused because he had so many women. But we have seen children who have come from polygamous families, who have who have made it. So I think that is an excuse that can be demystified. Children who are intelligent, a relative will pick it.
Yeah.
A Samaritan, good Samaritan. When they are children to serve, they will say, even the government gives scholarships to children who excelled.
These days, even schools give bursaries to great students.
Exactly. So, but I think that is unfair because you don't choose to be dull. I think bursaries should be spread as a Christian.
But they also give bursaries to talented students.
What about those who struggle? Because to become intellectually disabled, you don't apply for it. So, as churches, as fraternity of community development workers and civil society organizations, they should also support those who are disadvantaged naturally. Yeah. As I said, you don't apply for dyslexia.
That's true.
Your parents have brought it to you, have given it to you, and you are going to pass it on. Once you are...
What does this parent has to do? Or when they realize their child has dyslexia and so they have nothing else to do. But
the first intervention is identifying that child and declaring it to the school or people who can give assessment. Assessment is the first remedy. This morning I saw 8 children. 8 children with dyslexia. Wow. I mean, but not everybody can access these services.
Exactly.
Because they are still, they are not widespread, they are mainly in Kampala. There is a cost attached to it. But my prayer is that one day, this is like immunization. It should be part of primary health care. A child who has got a special need, a special issue, he goes to a community facility and is assisted. You remember? In Uganda, we had once upon a time, in the 90s, education assessment and resource service centers, EARs. They were in every district of Uganda, but under the sponsorship of DANIDA, the Danish Development Agency. But when the funding stopped, these centers were collapsed. And now I don't know what districts are using the facilities for. But I think we need to wake up. I want to make a plea to the Honorable Minister of Education and Sports, really to rethink this facility, because it had been created so that our children who are vulnerable are assessed early. Because the principle is early identification, early assessment, early placement in school, and early intervention. Give them what they need when they are still young. You have given them a future. So for the parent, take the child for assessment. Whether it costs you what, it is the best gift you can give a child. Secondly, let these children go to school.
Don't keep them at home.
Don't keep them at home. Don't let a child drop out of school because academically is not doing very well. The other, I think the whole entire system, let us start with the preschool teachers. Let them be educated about dyslexia and associated conditions. Because once you miss those early years, because those are foundational years, it is going to be too late later. You know, the more we advance, there is what we call in science critical age hypothesis. That if the child is helped early, at least before 12 years, you are ensuring a better future. People who never mastered the language by 12 years, they struggle even if they become members of parliament. Still they speak an English that is, with the quality broken, I don't know.
So a new term has come in.
Yes. So basically, I'm praying that one day dyslexia is made a primary health care issue. Children are assessed, and they are given appropriate placement in schools, and the teachers are well trained. Government is coming up with a new policy on inclusive education. I'm sure it will take care of all these differences that children may have. And unfortunately, it has dragged on, but that is something to mention. But I'm sure they're working so hard. So I'm sure not very long, we shall have a policy which streamlines the processes that will go in line with supporting these children.
Wow.
But every community, the local leaders should know that we have got people with dyslexia. Something I don't want to leave, Mr. Moderator,
yes,
is the fact that if you don't support a person with dyslexia, especially a young person, studies have shown in the United States that 75% of inmates in prisons are people with dyslexia. This is very sad. The situation may be worse in Uganda. These are people, because I told you in the first place, that these guys are high-risk takers.
Yeah.
On the road, they're the ones who overtake where they're not supposed. Because the reflectors in the brain, brain reflectors are non-functional. When they perform tasks of reflection, they score very low marks. So they are not reflective, that's why they are fighting, they are not computing the consequences. They do bad business. The businesses are there today, tomorrow they collapse because they never planned for what can happen. So basically, I want to say that we need to put our hands together. Family TV, I'm proud of you because already by offering this opportunity to educate the public, this is a big building block you're putting on this nation. Makerere University would like to thank you so much because with this intervention, Uganda will not remain the same. And to the parents, I call upon you, don't hide your child. Don't punish them for failing to perform well. It is not their mistake. The designer is God. Just accept that gift that God gave you, but work with the different stakeholders to ensure that this child realizes the God-given potential.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Doctor. We are indeed grateful for this time. And we hope to bring you back and talk about other conditions associated with learning and speech. So next time when we invite you, please do what you did for these particular days, last week and this week. We're indeed grateful. Thank you so much. And you, our viewers, thank you so much for always watching Church of Uganda Family TV. Thank you so much for loving Health Pot. This program is brought to you by Makerere University School of Public Health, together with Church of Uganda Family TV, basically looking at early childhood development, maternal and child health, and other public health areas. Edrine Osteeen Mukalazi is my name. I've worked with Jonah Jal, the producer, Tony Santo on social media, Brenda Tijakira, the associate producer, and Bantam in transmission. God bless you. We meet again next time.